You know, the fact is that, the cost of living crisis is on everybody's minds, whether it's the price of energy or whatever it might be. And tonight's session is so important because this is really talking about how that you can actually protect your income. I remember many years ago that there was an illustration given to me, and it showed a chicken, and then it actually was a swan, and then it showed the golden egg. And someone said, "What's more important, the swan or the golden egg?" And some people would say, "Hey, it's the golden egg," but it's actually the swan, in that the swan produced the golden egg, and so we may not want to think of ourselves almost like an ATM machine, but the fact is that however much money that you make per year, whether it's 20,000 a year or 20,000 a month, the fact is that's what your output is, and you have to know and be smart about the things that you do as far as protecting your income. So thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that you got your pens and notebooks handy. We've got the chat group enabled this evening. And so if you've got some questions and comments, one of the things I would really encourage you all to do is, I know that your speaker tonight is going to be giving you some great tools, tips, and techniques. And if there's one of those aha moments or one of those statements that Barbara makes, why don't you put it in the chat group, and again, something that's like, wow, the penny just dropped when it came to that. And your speaker tonight is Barbara Anderson. Barbara is a senior vice president with Genistar. She's also one of the founders that helped found the company over 15 years ago. One of my best friends, one of our top leaders. And I want you all to kind of keep Barbara in your prayers tonight, because she is in sunny Jamaica. Somebody has to suffer in life, right? But that's one of the beauties of our business, is you're self-employed and you can run your business pretty much from anywhere in the world. And so Barbara, you're a great leader, a great friend. I really do count you as one of my, not only one of my best friends, but also one of my best counselors, and just really proud of you. So Barbara, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I've got my notebook out here and my pen also, and I'll be taking notes. So over to you, Barbara.
Okay, Coach, thank you so much. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this evening. And hey, as you've just heard, I'm here in sunny Jamaica. I can hear all the planes landing behind me. I'm sure you'd love to see the beach and the sunshine as well. And yes, I am suffering for all you guys today, just here in the sunshine. But thanks so much for joining us. And, we have such challenging times, that we're coming through and seem to be heading into. It just seems to be all around us right now. And one of the thing about it is to be able to position ourselves to be able to, accommodate what comes our way. And a lot of that will rise and fall on our income. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you this evening. And this evening really is talking about the income side of things. Last week you heard from my awesome colleagues, Steve Jenkins and Justina Ilochi, and they spoke about the utility crisis. And, listening to that last week, I'm like, wow, things are just, really getting worse. But one of the things we want to talk about, is some practical things that you can do really right now in making sure that, once these things are going. In fact, one of the things they say, the only people who care about your bills are you and the person you owe. Nobody else really care about your bills. So you've got to be in a position that you can really, pay the bills and still be able to live and get by right now. And so this evening really is talking to you about the income side and how you're going to secure your income. That is what we want to talk to you about this evening. And as Jeff has said, if you got some questions, put it in the chat for us. We have other sessions coming up over the next few weeks, and we're really hoping that these will impact you in a positive way. We really want people to come away from here with some action plan. We don't want you just to think, oh yeah, that was really good, really, comforting, touchy-feely kind of stuff. We want you to start taking, a mental note of some of the things that you're going to be able to do to really change the situation. So let's talk about the edge of survival and how will you cope up on this edge of survival right now. I want to share some statistics with you here. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Money Charity, but the Money Charity produces figures each month that tells us really what is going on in the economy. So if we look at inflation right now, 89% of UK adults have reported that their cost of living has increased. So that's around 46 million people in the UK right now. And you might be one of them. In fact, I think there are only few people right now, you know, the really wealthy ones who, you know, hasn't seen any real, you know, knock on their income per se or their cost of living, because the thing about having money is that money can really help to cushion some of these things as they come our way. Then we look at utilities, which I spoke about earlier that my colleagues covered last week. And, you know, 1 in 4 people estimate that, you know, they're going to struggle and they'll be unable to pay their utility bills after the October 2022 cap. And I know what you're saying. Hey, you know, we've got a new prime minister and she's promised us that there's going to be a cap that is not going to go beyond 2,500. But as you look at that, also be reminded that when these things happen, the money has to come from somewhere else in the future to pay for these things. So if you get a price cap now, then what's going to happen is in the future, somewhere either it's going to be a raise in taxes or something. So it's not really going to be the long-term solution. And again, we're looking at some of the further increases that's going to happen. And so 1 in 3 believe that by January 23. So again, the numbers are shrinking, that, you know, more people are realizing that they are going to really struggle to get themselves through this crisis. And if you look at food banks, 1 in 10 parents are now expected to rely on food banks. And the thing about the food bank situation right now is that there are people that are in good jobs. There are people who are in good jobs. So food banks at one time was seen as a thing where only if you're really at the bottom of the barrel and you're poverty stricken. But guys, right now, I'm sure if you've checked your bills, you'd have seen how much your bill for the supermarket has gone up, your petrol prices, all of these things are just moving and moving. And then if you look at how things are increasing and then look at your income and ask yourself, you know, what's going to happen as these things grow? And really, what would happen if I end up not having any income for myself? So let's look at the reality of all of this. Have a look at this here and have a look at this family situation here. So here's a family we're looking at. We're looking at a family with a mortgage or rent, travel costs, their insurances, their credit cards, utilities, groceries, and childcare. So we're looking at here at about £3,800 and looking at this couple here. So wife makes a couple thousand, husband make a couple thousand. You might know somebody in that position. You might be in that position right now. And this is what happened, you know, typically that's what happened in our lives. You know, we have 2 income coming in, but here's what happened. Mr. suddenly falls ill and Mr's income is removed, or he loses his job. Something happens, but Mr's income is no longer there. Now think about what would happen. The rent is still going to be there. The travel costs, the car insurance, the credit cards, the utilities, the groceries, the childcare, those things will still be there unless plans have been put in place as to how to combat those things. And I'm hoping that this evening will really get you to start thinking more about how do we protect against those things. We talk a lot of time about life insurance and all of that, which is fantastic because it is a very, very important piece of your financial plan. But here we're talking about what do you do to make sure that if it weren't something like death, what would happen to the family situation? How would they cope with this £3,800 of bills? I just want you to think about that. Think of your situation right now. Think of somebody that you know right now who've got a family, or even they might be, you know, no kids involved. You know, it could very well be that, you know, baby is now gone off and got their own job, but this couple still has a mortgage, and a lot more people are having mortgage into their later lives. And, you know, in a few weeks' time, you're going to be hearing from my colleagues as they talk to you about the mortgage side of things and how to plan and how you can take care of your mortgage situation a lot better. So what will this family lose? Is it just the love of the partner that's gone? Will it just be, I don't know, you know, the hugs, the kisses? There's that, but there's also things like the possibility of losing the home, losing the car, family breakup, and a lot of people struggle to actually cope in these challenging times. And so what do we do, and what will this family lose? So it's not just about, you know, the partner being gone, but also about the costs that will still remain and the possibility of being left without a home. So here's what you can expect if you're not adequately protected. And before I talk to you about that, I want to do something here. I want to put a little poll up on my screen because I'm sure you're all sitting comfortably, nice cup of tea and hand a glass of wine or something. But I have got a poll that I want to put up on my screen here. And here is my poll for you this evening. What percentage of people in the UK do you believe have no savings or have less than £1,500 in savings? So I want you to choose. Come on. Yeah, but wow. Yes, wow. Okay. Wow. Look at the numbers. Wow. All right. The 50%ers are leading. Okay. All right, this is fantastic. Okay, that really tell me that you all weren't asleep. All right, I just want to make sure that you were still here with me and that you hadn't fallen off asleep. So thank you so much for the guys who participated. And I know what happened. We always have the last few ones that come in at the last minute with their answers. And then somebody says, oh, it's on my phone, it's on my phone. I couldn't get to do it, So shout your answers at the screen, put it in the chat if you think that, you know the answer to this one, but you didn't get a chance to do the poll. But really, guys, I want you to see really what the answer is. So you might be a little bit surprised at what the answer is, but let's take the poll down and then I want to tell you what the actual answer is. Let's go to the next screen. 35% of UK adults have no savings or less than £1,500 in savings. Now think about this. If you had £1,500 right now, I want you to think of your personal situation. You have £1,500 in your savings account and you fell ill or you lost your job. How long could you live on £1,500? And listen, I want you to interact with me. I want you to put some things in the chat. Tell me how long, if you had only £1,500 in your bank account, that you think that you could survive. Think about this, because one of the things we're talking about here is the reality of the situation. It is not far-fetched. It is not, okay, we got 1 month, we got 1 week, we got 2 weeks, not very long. Okay, less than a month. So guys, this is what we're saying is that what is plan B? What is plan B? Because right now, more than ever, we need to create a plan B. And if you look at it and if you think about things like sick pay, because some people might be sitting here right now saying to themselves, well, I get my sick pay from work. If I'm off work sick, I'll get my sick pay. Do you realize that statutory sick pay is only £99.35 a week? And that's only payable for 26 weeks. So what's going to happen on week 29? What's going to happen on week 29? And 43% of firms in the UK reduce their employees' wages to after just 2 weeks. And this one is a really scary. 1 in 6 employers reduce their employees' wages to sick pay after just 4 days. Now, imagine if you are on £2,000 a month and suddenly you go down to £99.35 a week. And then consider it being longer term. What if it's more than 28 weeks? And it's well, okay, well, I'll get my benefits. It's £117.60 per week. That's employee support allowance. That's the maximum, by the way. So you do have a smaller band where it's on the £80 that you would get. And then you have, it's only for the people who have less than £6,000 in savings. So here is what I'm going to say to you right now. Think about all of this. You're going to be worse off roughly. If you think that you're going to need an extra kind of £450, guys, a week just to live, where's that £450 going to come from? And the reason I'm asking you these questions is everybody is responsible for one household. And that's yours. The person sitting in your chair, that's that person's household. Forget the neighbors, forget everybody else, and just think about you. Be a bit selfish right now and think about yourself and ask yourself, what would happen if I went down to £450 minus a week? How could I survive with less than £450 a week? And by the way, guys, one of the things that you need to consider here as well, you might be thinking that, okay, but I'll get 6 months full pay and 6 months half pay. Also consider what would happen if you're off work for a year. If you look at the top there, according to the industry statistics, the average length of time that people are claiming for sick pay is 4.5 years. So some are less, some are longer. So we took an average and it's 4.5 years. So ask yourself, by that time, I've seen where people have said they've had to sell their home because they weren't able to survive long term without any form of income. Now, the impact that it has is not just, it might be you as an individual, it's also on your family life. And I'm telling you that money might be that thing where people don't want to talk about it a lot, but it's one of the things that impact lives in such a very, very strong way. It affects relationships, it affects people's mental health. We're going to have a session on mental health in a few weeks' time as well, but it also affects people's mental health, what's going on with their finances at the moment. So think about the one paycheck away from being broke. And consider what would happen if you lost your income source. And again, I want to share some more statistics with you. And again, I'm hoping you haven't fallen asleep on me. Bankruptcies. 327 people are being made bankrupt daily, according to the latest statistics. And right now, guys, I'm telling you that there are people with good jobs. Once upon a time, this was talking about people who are at the bottom of the barrel. Now you're talking about people with great jobs. You're talking about people who are doing quite well, the nice house, the nice car. And again, do not be fooled by that. But people are living one paycheck to the next right now. How about repossession? 6.4 properties are being repossessed every day. Think about being homeless. I mean, we were joking just now about being in Jamaica. At least it's hot, but you're somewhere, but you still need a roof anyway. But think about being in the UK and being cold and having nowhere, being in a house where there's no heating, you can't afford to put your heating on, what would happen? And again, that equates to one property being repossessed every 3 hours and 43 minutes. Guys, that is really some scary statistics, really, really scary statistics here that is going on. And again, I want to ask you about redundancy. You might think that you're not at risk. I would have asked, in fact, let me ask you this question. How many of you are 100% certain that your job will still be there next week, Monday? 100% certainty that your job will be there next week, Monday. And I mean, think about this and ask yourself, what would happen if going to work tomorrow morning, my company has gone bust? In fact, think about this, that companies get taken over all the time and they bring in their own team. They bring their own accountant. They bring their own cleaners. They bring everything, whatever your job is right now, guys, think about this, that at the end of the day, exactly, no one is safe, Samantha. All right. The only thing we can be certain of is dying. Thanks for that. Don't know. The thing about it is, guys, that none of us know what happens to the economy. Nobody expected, the Ukraine crisis. Nobody expected all these things that are happening. So at the end of the day, what you can control is what you can control. And think about this, 554 people in the UK are currently being made redundant. Ask yourself, what if I'm one of those 554? What would happen? Yeah, well, how would my family survive, that crisis? Now, a little bit of trivia for you, and trivia is meant to be fun, but this is more of a serious kind of trivia, because this is something I want you to have a think about and ask yourself this question. So I don't have a poll for this one, but I want you to write this one in the chat for me. What's the single most impacting factor that is affecting people right now? I touched my screen too quickly. There we go. So much for my trivia. All right. I got a little bit too quick on the fingers there and I touched this too quickly. But guys, would you agree with me? Give me a 1 in the chat if you agree with me that insufficient income is what is affecting people right now. So we always say it's not that people have got a problem with their debt. It's not that people got a problem paying their bills. I promise you, Sir Alan doesn't have a problem paying his bills. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for, wow. Thank you so much for these posts. Yeah. Listen, the wealthy people, Sir Richard, they don't have to worry about how they're going to pay their bills. Income is what is affecting people. It's not because people are silly or people are not, controlling their budget. I would say it's a case of right now, if you look at inflation being 13.3% and your wages would have increased, I don't know, 3, 4, even 5% if you were lucky. And currently with inflation at 13.3%, what we see here is income is what is really affecting people right now. So what are the options that are available to you then to secure your income? What do you do? What do you do? Can you write in the chat for me if you know something that you think, you know what, that's one way of securing my income. Let me know in the chat what you think is a way that you could secure income. Yep. Yeah, most people don't have a debt problem, they have an income problem. I think the rich have another kind of worry. Yep, there's a new devil for every level. So the rich are not worried about £100 or £1,000, streams of income protection. Okay, thanks for those. Thanks for writing those. Yep, multiples, yeah, put into savings. Okay, thanks guys for that. So hey, listen, that's very, very true. You have two options when it comes to securing your income. And the first one is to have multiple streams of income. So I want to ask you a question. Could you benefit then from having an additional £500 to £1,000 per month coming into your account? Would that help you? Would that help? Would an extra £1,000 help towards something? Would you, if you had an extra £500 coming in per month, what would you do with it? Tell me in the chat, what would you do if you had an extra 500 or an extra 750? I'm going to go halfway in between. What would you do if you had an extra £750 coming through? Yeah. What would you do with that money? Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at some of the things that you said. Save it, invest it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've got lots of investors. Put it away for a rainy day. Manisa, it rains every day in the UK. All right, but investment, yeah, okay, pay off your debts, make additional mortgage payment, invest half, invest for a car. So guys, so you're really saying, and that you do think that, having save and find some good investment. Wow, that's brilliant. Yeah, awesome. Afford to live. Wow, save and pay off my debts. Guys, this is what we're talking about, that think about what it would do, and don't just think about it, you act on it. There's a difference between thinking and acting. If you look at the word act and Sean, action, if you were to use the dividing I, what two words do you get? If you use the I in the word action to divide it, what two words would you get? Okay, let's have a look at my chat here. Act on, absolutely. So it's not just about thinking, it's about acting. If thinking, they said if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. So the thing about it is not just thinking about it, is acting on it and doing something about it. So that's your first option. And yes, some of you did guess the second one is having additional streams of income. Could you benefit from a financial review that show you how you could improve your income strategy and how to secure your current financial situation, how to solidify it, how to reinforce it? Could you benefit from those things? And if your answer is yes, then the question is, with the current financial crisis, would you agree that having something in place really, I'm going to paraphrase here, that would you agree with the current financial crisis that it's more important now than ever to protect your income? Would you agree? Give me a 1 if you agree that now more than ever, with us not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, that is very, very important. Yeah. So I think the answer to that is a yes. I can see the numbers just running away at the top of my chat here. Thanks so much. Wow. Thank you, guys. So now more than ever, we do agree that we do need an additional income. So here is what I'd like to ask you. Which of these two options would you say is most important to you right now? Is it A, is it B, or is it both? And again, I have got something for you. I'm going to put another poll up on my screen here. All right, and you are going to help me to complete this poll. This one is asking, which one do you think is most important to you right now? And remember, you can choose 1, you can choose 2, you can choose all of the above, and tell us which one of these do you think is most important to you and your family right now. Well, all of the above seem to be leading the way. Wow, okay. All right, I need to be blinking a little bit faster here. All right, all of the above. Leading the way. Wow, well done, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. And remember, if you can't use the poll, guys, then please put it in the chat. Which one? Option A, B, or both? Thank you guys. Wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. We've got over 70% of people who have voted. Come on, guys. Yeah, I'm going to give you another 10 seconds to do this. So should I count you down? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. And guess what? All of the above and people are still voting. As usual, we have the last minuters coming in. So guys, we really want to thank you for taking that. And here's what I want to say to you about this. You've listening to this and you're saying to yourself, you know what? This does make sense. I should be looking at what I am going to do to take care of my future, my family future. You might be in here thinking, you know what, Barbara, it's just me, myself, and I. Guess what? You still need to do something about your situation. If you've got a family that this is important to, then you got to do something about that situation as well. So listen, guys, if this makes sense, if you're here as a guest this evening, I would love you to get in touch with a person. In fact, I'm going to challenge you right now to drop them a text and say to them, if it was A you put, or you put B, or you put both, I want you to drop them a text right now and tell them which option you voted for in the poll. So just put, my poll vote is. You put A, you can put B, or you can put both. All right, do that, guys. Drop them a text, have a chat with them. Listen, we're doing this so that we want to help you. We want to help you get empowered. We want to give you something that you can work with to move forward. Last week, I know we shared with you a fact finder as well, so that you could have a chance of seeing for yourself where you are and what can you cut back on. But we know that raising our income right now is really, really more important than ever. So next week, as our awesome CEO just mentioned, we won't have a session, in honor and memory of the Queen. Next Monday, we won't have a session. But guys, we look forward to having you back on the 26th. You're going to hear from my awesome colleagues again and how to manage your mortgage and tips for managing your mortgage in uncertain times. So if you've got a mortgage, even if you don't have a mortgage, you need to come on, because one day when you do get a mortgage, these are things that will really, really help you to create the kind of life that you want for your family, and not just make sure that everything is just going to the creditors. You want to be able to live off some of those and leave a legacy for the next generation. So you've got your QR code at the bottom. If you don't know how to do it, just open your camera on your phone and press in the middle when the little yellow box come up, not a picture of it, just touch your screen and it will open up right into the link for you to get registered for the next session. We do hope that this has been really, really helpful to you. So I'm going to take my screen down and I'm going to hand over back to my awesome CEO. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Barbara. And, Barbara, if you don't mind just kind of staying on here and chatting
Yes.
with me,
Absolutely.
we have a couple of questions. I think that the overarching answer to many questions, because we could go on and on, but we said we would keep these to 30 to 45 minutes, no longer. But I do think it's we've had some great questions, and great job, Barbara, by the way.
Thank you.
You're just such a great communicator. One of the questions was, how do you protect your income? Now, obviously, you covered some of that, but I'd like to just kind of unpack that a little bit, because it could be a couple of different ways. It could be while you're living, it could be if you become disabled, or it could also become, if you die. So there's sort of three different areas, aren't there, as far as protecting your income? So can you and I maybe unpack that a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, and for this evening's purpose, we were talking more about the whilst you're living and being able to pay your bills and take care of yourself, because as you mentioned, you have life insurance, you have serious illness or critical illness cover that will give you a lump sum, but also what about long-term? How would you live long-term? One of the things that is also important to point out in terms of income protection, it is also the different things that will impact that, things like occupation, age, and all of that will really impact those things. But again, it's about what would happen. It's considering and say to yourself, close your eyes and just think about, if I did not get my wages next week, due to whatever it is, whatever the thing you can think of that could stop you getting your wage next week, close your eye and think about it and ask yourself what would happen the following week. And then say to yourself, okay, whatever it is, if you're saying it's me dying, then okay, protection is life insurance. If you're saying me developing a serious illness, then it's also meaning let's get some cover that would pay you out a lump sum. And if we're saying, wow, it's about me not having my income because I'm sick and I'm not able to go to work, I'm self-employed, or it's a case of my boss is now giving me statutory sick pay, then that is income protection. So there are three different areas there. And then overall, I would say the fourth area is having enough money in place, being generated, that it doesn't matter. It's having like sitting on a stool with one leg or sitting on something with more than one leg, that it will still, you'll still be able to sit if it breaks. And that is what having multiple streams of income is about, where you're protecting it, where you're in control of the money that is coming in and not just somebody opening the purse strings and giving it to you. It's you're controlling where those monies are going to come from and not depending on others to give it.
Absolutely. And so, the reason that we covered tonight about making additional income is whether it was with us, because people can certainly work with Genistar. And I remember, Barbara, when I first saw this seminar many years ago, I joined and I started making an extra $2,000 a month. I mean, it changed our lives. It really did.
Absolutely.
People used to talk to me about, what would 500 or 1,000 do in a month, and it's kind of like, well, it would just change everything, because it gives you more breathing space. But you also have got to get that budget in place, because you might think, well, boy, if I could just make this much, then it would solve all my problems. But you and I have been around a long time. We know that a lot of people that make bigger money just have bigger toys and bigger debts. So you have to really be disciplined in that area. So let's just kind of go through those again. So the how do you protect your income from a living standpoint is you make additional income. I've been an entrepreneur now for 4 decades, and it's wonderful. Barbara, I know, by the way, Barbara, you didn't ask me if you could go to Jamaica, did you?
No.
And you don't have to, because you're an entrepreneur, you're your own boss. And you just went over 100,000 in income for the last 12 months, and I know that you're smart with your money. And to watch how your life has changed, boy, talk about protecting your income. Because now you're in control of that. And then the second one is disability. If you get hurt on the job, off the job, that income protection. And it's amazing what just a small amount, most people think, well, to do that would cost me hundreds and hundreds of pounds a month, but it doesn't. For a very, very small amount of money, you can transfer that risk over to the actual insurance company. And then, of course, death, which none of us like to talk about, but that's really what you carry life cover for. And I don't know why they ever called it life insurance. Should be called death insurance.
Death insurance, yeah.
But the fact is that you don't buy it because you want to die. You buy it because you want to provide for your loved ones after your death. Whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
Great. And then, Barbara, the other question that we had was a couple of people said, "This is my first session. I wasn't able to make session 1. How can I get a hold of session 2? So here's what we're going to do for everybody on here that came on session 2. We will go ahead and send you the link for session 1. And so whether you were on session 1 or not on session 1, it's great to go back and review or share that with your family and friends. Okay. Well, in that email, follow-up email, we will also send you another link and a reminder to register for the 26th, which is the one on mortgages and, goes into a little bit about property and that type of thing. Yeah. So we will make sure that all of you that are on here will get a link to session number 1, and feel free to share that. We will eventually get all of these on our website, which is genistar.online, as one of our courses, free courses for people. But feel free to share that. And once we're done with the 5-week course, then we'll also get it online. Okay. Let me see, Barbara, any other questions or anything? I'm sorry, my boss, which is my wife, Margot said, session 1 is already on Genistar's YouTube channel. Thank you, Margot. You're the one that organizes all that. So I guess all they have to do, is that right, Margot, is go on to YouTube and follow Genistar, and it'll be right on there on how to combat the financial crisis.
Yeah.
Okay. Margot said that's right. I tell you, I did good tonight listening to my wife, you know.
Thanks.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Well, listen, thank you all so much for joining us. And, you know, listen, if you didn't get your questions answered, as Barbara said, here's what I would encourage you to do is get with the person that invited you here. You know, we offer something called an FGP, a financial game plan. And what that is it's a thorough analysis that honestly, if you went to an accountant or a financial advisor, they charge you £1,000 or £2,000 to do one of these. We do it for free. Now, I know you might go, well, what's the catch? Well, here's the catch, is that if we can help you in some area of what we do, it could be maybe you have home insurance and we could save you money in that area. It could be that, you know, you need protection in the area that Barbara talked about tonight, okay? Life protection, income protection, serious illness cover. It could be PMI, private medical coverage. You know, a lot of people are concerned about that right now with the state of, you know, NHS. And so it might be, you know, that maybe you want to be able to, you know, be able to do investments, which we're just getting ready to launch in October. Very exciting, okay, going back into the investment business. And so all these different areas we get paid directly, could be a mortgage on a home or something. We also are in, you know, we also have some people that we work with in the property business to help people build a property portfolio. Well, we get paid a direct fee whenever clients do business in those areas. And if you're really motivated, like Barbara was talking about tonight, why not take a look at our business? So get in touch with the person that invited you here, do a financial game plan. It costs you nothing. If you've already got one with someone else, it's kind of like going to the doctor and getting a second opinion. And Genistar really is here to help serve people. You know, our ethos, our philosophy, our motto, if you will, is financial freedom for all. Everybody deserves the knowledge and the information and the opportunity to be able to go and achieve financial freedom so you can go to Jamaica and work from there.
And Marcus just
Barbara-
posted the link as well for the YouTube link is now in the chat.
Very good.
Yeah.
I tell you, that wife of mine, I don't know what in the world I'd be doing with her. You know, we've been married almost 50 years now, 47 years in November, and I think I'm going to keep her around for another 47.
Well, I know my team is trying to find me a Jeff as well, following on from last night. So they're trying to find me a Jeff. So it's on our team group at the moment.
Somewhere out there, there is the right person for you.
Yeah.
I'm believing it.
Guys,
okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate you. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. And by the way, keep the royal family in your prayers. And you know what an incredible lady. I mean, 70 years of faithfulness and service.
Yeah.
And we'll see all of you in the next 2 weeks from now. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Good night.